Hello and welcome to Blob Plays what will be our Crush the Dream series, as a communist UK crush the American dream by puppeting the USA. And note the finer detail here says you have to complete the Crush the Dream focus. So if, for example, you were to become communist, manually fabricate against the USA, and then work your way, and then beat them in a war and puppet them, you'd find that you would have expletive yourself out of the potential to get the achievement, because the Crush the Dream focus needs them to not be in your faction and not have and to be democratic, which if you'd already puppeted them, there's no way to get this done. This should have a bypass, is the clear answer. This really should have a bypass. But, you know, my mistake too, honestly. I should have looked into what the achievement requirements were before pursuing it, or rather than just taking the achievement text here rather literally. I should have looked into the exacting requirements. So we have another go at it. Now, this is... now we're up to the first hotfix for Man the Guns, 1.6.1. And there have been some, well, somewhat significant changes. Yeah, that'll do. Namely, although you can go to the top then, namely that fuel is now a hell of a lot tighter. There's these modifiers to the economies, see fuel capacity, and more importantly, fuel per oil. Fuel per oil, fuel per oil. Although the fuel capacity one goes away straight away. Anyway, this means that as Britain, you can't just immediately go super nuts on the Navy experience training, naval training to get Navy experience to in turn use to either design an infinitude number of ships, but more likely to use it to speed up all of your technologies here. So tech is even tighter than it used to be. And it also means that during the first sort of phase of the war, you're likely to run out of oil until you swap out your economy law. Oil is, yeah, fuel is just a lot tighter. That being said, I'm kind of the opinion that just running out of fuel is an acceptable answer. Just keep going with zero fuel. The combat penalties for having low fuel aren't that bad. What it should really do is work out some sort of way of turning off your units totally if they don't have fuel, or else give a combat penalty that's not just seemingly not very significant, but rather very significant and connected to how much fuel you don't have. So like, if you're trying to use 10 times more fuel and you have zero, then you should suffer more of a penalty than if you're trying to use, you know, 1 unit of fuel and you have zero. Anyway, these normal things. And the other thing we will do is the airplane, so we're going to be building him. What I want to do is work our way towards the research slot, the free factories, becoming communist, and decolonizing, which we're going to do in the middle of the war process, which is a bit painful and can result in stupid things happening with regards to, like, basically the nations that you spit out, any that don't choose to stay with you, such as the little Mediterranean nations, they can become faction leader for a faction that's basically the we left the British sphere of influence faction, and if you've called them into the war before that happens, so if they're in the war, then they create their own little faction, then you end up with a situation where you get these miners that are leaders of a faction over here, and that causes Germany to want to call in the fascist states over here to counteract that, and it's just a whole stupid mess. What should really happen is, if you're at war, then they should stay in your faction until the end of the war, or potentially, like, give them some sort of means of trying to get a truce where they get set back to peace with Germany when they leave. But anyway, I digress. To start with, changing force. We want the war support so that we can change our economy from civilian to partial, so we get rid of the vast majority of the fuel penalty. Although, not all of it, but we couldn't do all of it, and there's no way we're getting to 40, 50 war support until war is declared. And we're too tight on political points to do lots of changes here, not when we're trying to rush communism. As part of the process, we want to also do a whole bunch of development in him, because we want to integrate him before he goes free. And we want to level up his port, so that we have a port over here for when Japan gets annoying. And then after that we go back to a fairly normal building scheme. Although I do want one more of these for myself. There we go. Now, and hopefully that's enough to tide us over until they're needed. For this, we want 6, 3, 3. We want 1 truck, although we don't know about that yet. We're going to keep the light tank but swap it over to our heavy tank. Those are what are going to be used to hold the line here and potentially here, depending on how much Germany go around Maginot. In the distant future, we wouldn't mind some of you, some of the normal naval bomber, some more carrier fighter, and some more carrier bomber. But I think that's about right. Now, why are we concentrating so heavily? And actually, we'll do one more of you, but one less of you at the moment. So heavily on infantry equipment, because we need to spit out an absolute arseload of manpower in the field, and for the purpose of this, we'll briefly bitch about airplanes not counting. Oh, but they clearly have service manpower, so if they're in a state they should count as manpower in the field in that state. But they don't. Or at least they didn't in version 1.6. Maybe they have. Paradox might have updated this, and I suppose we can check it out when we get to the suppress our subjects component of this playthrough. Now everyone, you all go bye-bye. We're bringing our navy home, we've disbanded our air force, we bring all our military home. In a group, you can live under him, who lives under the guy who's going to get purged when the nobility get purged. And we replace that. That's where they can guard. Now, as I said, we're going to need a ton of manpower in the field, and we're going to do that by making use of British Raj and Indonesian. What happened there? Can I please see mine? And Malaysian, thank you, units. We tell our deployment that we don't care about equipping troops that already exist. That doesn't help us get more men in the field. And we do what we said we would do with regards to, well, we do want one of you, but more importantly we want to steal that Rajian manpower. Find out how much we're allowed to steal. Find out how much he's actually capable of supporting. There we go, 116. Good. And then 10 of my own. They do not get it. Well, yes, they do get a deployment location. We're going to see if we can get the experience to swap these over to having the artillery in them before we deploy them, but we'll see. I think that's good. And then we're ready spaghetti. If we've double checked everything, we are doing researches. We have got production queued. Yep, ready spaghetti. So, there are, as far as I can see, 3 ways of going about this achievement. One would be to ignore the fact that you can become communist until after the war. This is probably even the easier approach, because then you don't have to spend so much early game political power investing in the becoming communist process. Turn communist after the war and then turn on the USA. 2 would be to attempt to avoid the war entirely. Say, I'm just not gonna care about continental crap. But this is boring. I'm not interested in that myself. 3 would be turn communist before the war with Germany and try to rush the... Oh, is that everyone? No, there's still a couple more. Try to rush the focus war goal on the USA down and beat them before the Civil War from turning communist happens, because if you don't decolonize... if you don't decolonize, you get a civil war. Which is bullshit, you know. The USSR maintained all their little satellite things, but did they get a civil war? No. Not from keeping them, at least. Anyway. But I don't want to have the time crunch of needing to beat the US after having to work your way through all these. Like, there's not much time left before the Civil War if you have to do this, and beat the US. Goodbye, King. So we're just going to do the decolonization process and give ourselves more time. We might see if we can strike while the US are still at war with Japan, depending on how that goes. Oh, the only thing I will do is indicate that my units are more important than the Raj's. Yeah. Cool. Now, what other things have changed in 1.6.1? We don't start going communist quite yet. They fixed that when you update carriers, and I think everyone is home now. Very good. That they actually increase their deck size, so that's nice and will reward us for upgrading our Hermes and Eagle potentially. They have not fixed the boat exploit though, to get access to the old boats, which is interesting. We split off all our destroyers and subs, they become a new person. From these we split off our OPRs, they're going to become the mine layers, under the command of Mr. I can learn how to lay mines well. And the only other thing is I like splitting off the adventure class guy. I wish that that did what I wanted, but it doesn't work like that. You've got to go like this. And send him to Singapore. Okay. Now we can do a little bit of training for these. I need to get up to 5 experience so that we can design our OPR class. And what else we should do is go indicate that these boats should build into the right thing. So this is the training fleet. This is the mining fleet. Oh. And we're good. So, you go to the real fleet. To the real fleet. To the mining... No, to the training fleet. To the training fleet. And everyone else to the training fleet, because there are no more big ships. Good. Speed back up. They've also seemingly changed the basis on how naval experience is calculated. Because if I was training all my destroyers back in at the start, when the first 1.6.0 was released, this would be earning me like double, if not a little bit more, the naval experience. So between the oil change, the fuel change, and this, naval experience is really, really, really harder to come by. Okay, we've got enough to do our OPRs, so we plan those. As we said, they're going to be mine layers. So we give them the mine laying symbol, and oddly enough we teach them how to lay mines. I want 7 more of them to bring us up to a nice flat 40. Boop. And then we tell the ones that we split off to upgrade, so... Go, do that. Okay, we can watch Ethiopia and wonder if the Spanish Civil War is going to trigger. And make sure we don't hit no oil. Close enough to no oil. Now, I also discovered one other neat little trick. Rather than wasting our own... Oh, everyone's at full health. Well, I can't show off the trick. Hopefully next time. To prevent needing to use your own factories for naval repairs. Oh, the Singaporeans need to know to exist there. Boop. Come on, Spanish Civil War. Don't make me begin decolonizing. So it is. You're capable of training. Yes. Let's have a look at what focuses our guy's been doing. We would dearly love it if he does this one. These ones are a close second, and then everything else we don't give a shit about. And how much more do I need to give him? I suppose that can technically wait. And that probably takes longer than the radar. Well, anyway, we never end up needing all of these. So I'll give them to him to help things along. And then maybe enough convoys to help. See what that does, and how close that gets us to where we need to be for integrating him. Once all this building is done as well. Train. Okay. Spanish Civil War is not going to benefit from the fact that Italy won't be... Well, if it happens early enough, Italy can't send troops at the start because they're busy being at war already. Yes, please, to swapping you over. That is nice. But what else is nice is the new Strat Bomber. But more so than that, we need to have something to do with our dockyards. So we're going to do this, because changing over all those submarines doesn't actually take very long. You will of course abdicate and provide us with a glorious amount of stability. Why, thank you. Now we lose some, but then we gain it back by doing the communist focus. Oh, but there's enough world tension. We gotta head for that research slot in the factories. It's just too good. Let me change. And can we squeeze any more in here? Not yet. Ah, here we go. So I've got some that have got damaged. We can show off the neat little trick. So you find them, and rather than sending them to your own ports, you disable repairs and you send them across to Canada to use up Canada's repair time. What do I care if Canada has one less destroyer? Not much, but I certainly care about interrupting my own naval activities. So you are now allowed to repair. And hello, he repairs. All on Canada's dollar. We're almost out of oil. Now, I said we want... That's enough to do the EFGs. We want to swap over to the new airplane and the new tank. That'll have to do. Oh, hello. And if you don't make sure that they're stuck with a real unit as well, then they tend to do this bullshit where they try and repair. No. You will bloody well go where I tell you. No! Where are you? You're using my repair time. Make it stop. Much better. Use Australia's repair time. So it would be good for us if the communists win, but because it didn't trigger early, they're fairly likely to not. If it triggers really early, then they can get a bit of an advantage. Whilst Italy can't send volunteers, and they tend to have a better time of it. We can probably manage to squeeze in these getting to fully trained. Good. Find any who weren't. Split them into their own group. Those ones may continue training. Good, that should let us fill our queue, which is dangerously close to finishing. As would the new torpedo, but we can wait until we've done struck bomber. Now the one that it lets us do is the EFGH class from memory, because all it needs is the good sonar. So these two come home. Head down to that research slot. So I'm a research slot for research slots. Oi! You two can merge. I do not give you permission to repair. No. What you'll do is go repair it in Canada, like a good boat. You just have no luck, do you, HMS Adventure? And what focus has our guy chosen? Come on, Naval. Boo. Well, they're still better than him choosing the stupid ones that give him army experience or something. are allowed to repair. We tell these that they should get in the conversion list. It's all well and good. Maybe even speed up. Oh, we can check how much of this we've done, and if we can squeeze in any more. We can. And then how much more he's going to need. Probably like 50-ish. How am I going to give you 50? Probably just by giving away these again. Sounds good. So we're getting the other airplane, we are working on the tank. The only other things we need are the float plane and the torpedoes. Good. Whilst these may repair, sorry, continue training. Good, speed up. Come on, get to 25 so I can change my military policy. And you might think, gosh, that's so much political power saved up, but you just wait till we get the Turn Communist event started. It's gonna disappear pretty quick. You have finished, so you may stop. You may return to Singapore, your home. Oh my god, it looks like you repaired in one of mine instead of in Australia. I hate you so much. Slight waste. These are finished, so they can train while we, and tell you never to repair, while we wait for all our ships to finish upgrading. Now, which focus? And which one are you doing? You're almost out of ones we care about. There's this one and this one. But he's being a very good boy. He hasn't gotten distracted. Research slot. That's the last one that we said we need to design the boats that we want. Everything else kind of, well, most of it needs to wait for the collapse of the London Naval Treaty System. There is a little bit we can do, like we can do this kid, we can give him a bigger deck. But no, you change the name first, because otherwise it gives it those stupid generic names. Oh, wrong one. You. We would like to be able to do the Eagle as well, but that would make it too big under the London Naval blah blah blah, even if we were to rip out the anti-air. So we have to wait. We can tell the Eagle to get going. Sorry, the Hermes. And therefore we push him to the top of the line, because we want him done now. Basically, we want him done before we start trying to train the big ships up, which isn't too far away. These ones are nearly finished. Thank you. You come back inside him. Go. Oh, we can change our... Yes, go. Yes, and then watch our actual rate of fuel income. Oh, that's nice. So much nicer. We cut that penalty for our oil income, or our fuel from oil, by 3/4. Now, rather than hitting peak of this, we will go teach him how to lay mines. Dropping highly explosive mines designed to sink ships out of a ship requires a certain mental fortitude, and this officer has plenty of it. Good, you become a variant. And then we are done. There is nothing else that we super duper need there. So this can wait to become next year's industry tech. Which industry tech do we care about the most? Oil. Why? Because we want to spend our 2 research bonuses on this one, because it has the highest base cost and so saves you the largest number of days, and this one because it's equal second. That one is also equal second, but I'd rather get that one done with the bonus than that one. And now that we've finished that, we get an exact... What? Oh wow, we finished doing all the EFGHs. How fortunate that we have just finished learning about the upgrades to our... Yoink. What else can we do? We can do... You're a good distraction. I like shoving heavy guns on one end of you. We can't shove them on the other end yet because they'd be too heavy. Hawkins plus. So slow right down. But what we really want to do are the other ones of these. So, you get good sonar and good AA. And you become A, B, C, D plus. The other class that is very numerous is VW. How do you differ from A, B, C, D? He has the level 2 this, and the wrong kind of engine. So swapping out engines is very expensive. We will do you your own class then, VW plus. Good torpedoes. Good sonar. And what about the last one? S. You have crappy engine. So the S's can become VWs without need of their own individual thing. So we grab these. You are doing your thing. Actually, both of these need to plop together and train. So do these two. Anyway, we wanted ABCDs and VWs. So, VWs. ABCDs. And I've forgotten which one the S's were more like, but we'll be able to tell by the magic of mathematics. You. Okay. Then we can design our hunter-killers, but it's time to get you done. Well, we will be able to design our hunter-killers once we have the Navy experience, which we're getting better and better at getting. Because our oil income is better, or more accurately, our fuel from oil income. These ones can train until they're finished. You should also be part of that. Now, we were going to look at how close you were. So we had finished all of these, and nothing else can fit. How many more? Which focus are you doing? You're doing one. Well, that could let you go get that. But anyway, we need to send you how much more? 9. We did a pretty good job of almost getting you spot on. Send Lend-Lease. 9. Let's call it 10. No. There we go. That will do. And then we'll be able to integrate him. Takes about a month to get delivered. And then our fuel income will go up even more, because we will have integrated this extra bit of oil, and we'll be the proud owner of the world's rubber supplies. We go get our free factories, then we become communist. This can be that one. Whew. And why not the first one, you say? Because we are going to be really cheap and optimize on how many of our friends finish it before we start it. Have we built enough tanks to get you done? Oh, but we don't actually care, because you only need full manpower in the field, not to actually have full equipment, because I don't care. I just need manpower in the field. So yes, we definitely do swap you over to the tank we want. Seven, 3, 3. Four. And then once these are all full, we think about swapping. Oh well, we've got to do you, but then we think about our distribution of these and these. Because I kind of want to go super strat bomber heavy. I want to try that. I've never done that before. So one of these will do the industry tech, and the other one can do the fighter variant. enough experience that we can afford to do what? Where's Mine Layer guy? He still needs more skills. You need to learn how to take the government... Where is it? The government-mandated training course on how not to be seen. And lastly, to be a smokescreen specialist. When used correctly, smoking can, in fact, save lives. We no longer gain any more war support, which shows you why we couldn't try and get anywhere near worth war economy. So, when we first looked, this had 20 bonus, now it has 30. Can we get up to 40? Can I see a 50? 50? We can integrate Malaya, so I'll give him the opportunity, one last chance to do this one, but if he doesn't choose that one, he's integrated. $50. Boom. You have not chosen naval, therefore good day to you, sir. And we watch our oil go up again. So 26 becomes 34. And we gain 4, 5, 6 naval, 1 mil, 2 civ. And we're about to gain 6 factories. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we need 2 more before we start redistributing. Now, why did I want to integrate Malaya? Because otherwise, this one gives him freedom points for the rest of the thing, and then eventually he leaves. And just no. I want that oil, I want that rubber, I want a port over here. Even when I give up Hong Kong, I still need a port over here. Oh, we gotta look at whether you're about to Marco Polo. No, not quite yet. These are done. These are almost done. That becomes the Become Communist one. So we've got our airplanes. I will need to learn about hospitals. These are finished. Merge in with your real fleet. I'm going to choose to ignore that you're using my repair time. Boo hiss. 10 whole days of it. Who do you think you are? You should be in Canada repairing. One way you could do this, or force that to happen, is by right-clicking all yours, so that they instead go to one of your subjects docs, but there's no like easy way of mass deselecting. There needs to be like a turn off all and turn on all. That would be hugely convenient. We can swap that over even though it's not building yet. Okay. Whew. I wish we could do you, but what we can do is get the doctrine up to this one. What are you complaining about? That my Raj units aren't deployed. Oh, and these now need to deploy somewhere that isn't... Well, I would have used up all his manpower, and I don't think I need these two, so we're not going to do those. As for these, we're waiting, as we said, to try and incorporate the artillery in them, which is one more focus away before we can start getting Navy XP by means of mining it out of China. Of these, I like torpedo damage, and my ships suffer less damage. We like the torpedo damage one and the all light weapons one. They're very good. Really? I thought it was next one. Yeah. So when this gets to halfway, which is basically when ours finishes, like 3 or 4 days after that, we start improving with China so that he likes us enough to allow us to send an attaché. And for us, rather than hitting peak oil, now that all the big ships have finished upgrading, we start training these kids. And once we're up to, I think it's 45, we should be able to design our Hunter-Killer class. Oh! I think we were up to one of you because you before couldn't fit them. More days, and then we go improve with China. I wish we could do that, but there's not enough world tension. So instead we begin the decolonizing process, which basically is a way of being mostly decolonized before we, like ahead of time, so that we can be most of the way there before we turn communist, so that we don't have to stress out about the order that we get it done in. Also, it's just nice that these return political power, and it helps you become communist before the war breaks out. We're lucky we changed our political military thing before that happened. So a little bit more, and then I'll improve with you. Come on. Something like that. Evil Spain wins. Yeah, Evil Spain mostly wins. More extraction, that helps us have more oil. Ms. Earhart circumnavigates the globe. When I was a kid, I always assumed it was Earhart, as in A-I-R-H-E-A-R-T, which would make sense because she kind of loves flying. So if it gets to plus 22, we can stop. One more, and we're good. Come on. declare on him as well. Thank you. I'll have your attaché. It helps him resist Japan, but more importantly, it gives me a whole bunch of army experience. You boys are out of oil. Or at least you're about to be. And I can't see any of you that obviously need repairs. Now, because all my units have finished building, we can distribute them. No more of this. So that we are ready for when we need to suppress our subjects. You need to put 50k in each of their capitals, except India, who needs 100 because he's bigger. Well, he needs 96 on something, or 98, I forget, but it's basically 100. This one needs 30, which is 9, 18, 27, plus 3 from the little Indonesian ones that we had built. Oh, and no, that's their adventure. 3 from our Indonesian ones that he had succeeded at building. So if we grab that one and tell you you're part of him, then these can go to Quebec and Montreal. You head to Singapore. Next, we need 10 on each of these outer ones, which is a tank plus a troop. Big full-size troop. Africa needs 50, 50, 20. That's 50. Ah. That's 50. And then 6, 12, 18 plus 1, or actually plus 3, but plus 1 of our tiniest units is 20. And then the rest of you can go to Australia. Cool. We grab your units. We grab your units. Yours come to Australia. Yours, the Australian and New Zealand troops. Where do they go? Well, split off these 4. They come guard here, so they can come guard here when the day comes. The rest, for the moment, can come live here. Okay, now who else do we want to exist as people? You. Where's old Digger? There you go. You. Him. I think you survived the purging, I forget. Well, anyone with the name Ward is isn't likely to be surviving a purging, is he? I think you survive. Sure, why not? And you. And why not you? No, we already did you, okay? Why not him? You're even cheap to upgrade, so... What if we wanted to find you a leader, and that leader could become you yourself? We want you to have extra entrenchment. We will stack our entrenchment into the sun. Ah, and it's time to start doing the we become communist things. So, boom. We sadly give up Gibraltar. I cry every time. We have enough to make you have artillery 1. We want to add one more. At the very least. We would also like to add things like hospitals and digging, but the artillery are the most important. We will do that. And we will want 7 more. Well, we need to plan something else to do here. Oh, 1, 2, 3. But we want to plan 10 of you. Sorry, 7 and 7, 14 of you. But we can't quite do that until we have the manpower from doing these. These give you manpower as you start withdrawing from all these parts of the world. Hello, next one of those. Oh, and we've finished all these, so we say 2 more of you, maybe 1 more of you, and then see if we can just go infinite you. We have enough to add in our extra artillery. Hello, Middle East. Well, actually, I should do the Mediterranean first, because I don't think there are important resources on these. Whereas giving up the Middle East gives up some of our oil. Yeah. So we'll do the Mediterranean first. Optimizing on not giving away our oil. I don't care, I want the army experience. Oh, and I should stop that and replace it with a duplicate that's going to be our version of a reasonable troop. Now, what else can we do? Well, you can jump over here. the heck are you doing? I don't know why you're going somewhere else, but we're going to put a stop to that. Now, you need 50, 40, 20, 10. That's 50. $40. 1, 2, 3, 4. 40. 20. 6, 12, 18. 24 is 20. And then 10. 12 is 10. And then over in New Zealand, need 50 again. And then 10. But everyone else is excess to requirements. So these ones can live, I guess, over here. You sit threateningly along this border, even though we're not going to call Egypt in all likelihood. The rest of you can sit here, please. So that you're ready to jump over to help France. Except maybe these two. One can live on Malta. But what they're going to do is go hop on to Corsica. When the day comes. Now there are some weird things to do with the fact that I'll have subjects that aren't in the war. So Malta, I'll be able to use it as an air base, but our enemies won't be able to bomb it. I'll be able to use it as a naval base. I'll be able to use it to repair my ships, but our enemies won't be able to bomb those ships in port. It's weird. Weird. But beneficial to us, so we're not complaining. Rather than hit peak oil, we will first assign your air forces. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Cool. Boop. tell these to finish training, hopefully. Hopefully, maybe? Pretty please? We nearly have enough experience to add in a digging in crew to them. Now what we'll do instead is pass this. Abandon Africa. Again, we're avoiding doing the Middle East because we want to keep our oil for as long as possible. The downside of doing Africa is that we lose our chromium. Where is it? This. But better chromium than oil. And we can distribute these for as they are needed here. Basically, one needs to go in very nearly every state, except the capital, which we'll be using the Indian troops for. Don't forget Hyperbad. Where are you? One down here. One in Orissa. Now I did that state, but I don't think I did this state. Then we need to do Pluck now and Bihar? Yeah, Bihar. We need to leave one in Bengal. We need to leave another in the other bit of Bengal. One up to here. One over to here. And then we're done. We don't need to do these states because we make India spit out Burma, which basically means all of these are excess to need. So I should probably just refund them. Helps us get these done. Indicate that these are more important than finishing my units at the moment. We wanted this one, but not with a bonus. Oh, and we design our super float plane guy. So, this is what is going to lead our destroyer fleets in hunting down the enemies. We find the level 2 basic hull. Where is it? There. And we say float plane, float plane, float plane for an absurd 50 surface detection. We give it 2 reasonable guns, decent anti-air, good sonar. Don't need anything else. We don't give it that either. Oh, there's no harm. And good armor. And we call it the Hunter Killer. And then I want at least 4 of them. Oh, and I didn't change its picture. It is a hunter. It hunts things. Also known as a spotter ship. But it's also got pretty good guns, so it hunts and it kills. It doesn't just find the enemy, it kills them, though the destroyers do a lot of the actual work when it's submarines, because he doesn't have very good anti-sub attack. We want 4 of them. And that means 6, 12, 18, 24. we want them sooner than all of these, so we go jump them up to the top of the list. Thank you. And as long as they end up getting done before, I think it's September of next year, we're happy. Level 2, we don't suffer damage. And from now on we get to ask for free factories. And sometimes we get bonuses like free stability. We have enough to add in digging. Now which one adds the most equipment need? 60, 125. You. You're therefore the most important to add in first, because you will de-level them the most if you are added in last. We get to see how short we are on trucks and support equipment. You're saying we could use another truck. I can live with one more truck. And probably one more of that. I'm not deploying you until absolutely necessary. Same with you. In fact, I'll cycle these two so they make sure that their equipment is in the Raj units. Now, of these ones, this one for the extra sub detection is very nice. The first two are very helpful for these ones. But then that one is very nice. Japan abandons the naval treaty, as does Italy. And oh yeah, because we gave up... Oh no, we're giving up Africa. We're not quite finished. I was going to say we could go trade, but we will also run out of aluminium for all our planes. So that's about the last concession that we get to make for spending political power on anything that isn't going to be suppressing our subjects. Oh, and we should have gone and done the We Are More Austere. We're meant to do that one just after Japan attacks China, so we're had probably 4 months of having fewer factories than we should because of that. Oh, and we're out of oil. They did manage to finish, so we're happy with life. It's not 38 yet, but it will be in a sec, so that can become the new computing tech. I'm afraid I can't give you anything. Well... basically what this does is trades a bunch of old planes, of old fighters, for a very temporary boost to this. And it doesn't really give you a worthwhile trade, but for the sake of some role-playing, let's be nice to Yugoslavia. See, Yugoslavian aircraft purchases. We agree to limit conscription. We get even more stability. We go get our austerity. I suppose these could come into base. So could these. And the rest are already in base. We have enough experience to add in the next thing, which requires more. You require more. Digging it is. We don't actually need that second truck. So actually we will say no. Sorry, I want my army experience. And we pass the next one of these. We've got to be careful we don't do too many too quickly, but I think we're about on track. Oof. You doing status quo yet? No, you do this one, then you do status quo, then you do go with Britain. And that's when we need to be ready for war with... Oh, and we gave up Africa. So we need to go trade for that. So we find our African guy, who is how we were getting these, and we ask for most of them back. And we say that being one short isn't too much of a penalty. One short, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I could bump that up to that, and then trade for another one. God, you are a long time to raise. So the last thing we want to add... No, there's two things yet. There's binoculars and support artillery. We want to get up to the defense bonus one. We wish we could do other things, but we can't afford to. It costs too much and doesn't give us political power like these do, which we need for becoming more communist. Yoink. Yoink. And keep in mind, when we go kill off our royalty, we lose 15 of our stability, so this isn't as high as it actually looks. Get to do our last training block. Earn me my last batch of naval experience. Yoink. We can add in which one costs more. You. And we have successfully equipped all our units for deployment. Yay! At least with these, not with support equipment. We say goodbye to our American islands. I don't remember them having any important resources. Yeah. Zip diddly. What we do miss is this oil, and especially that oil. China is dying. We should do our next one of these. Boop. Boop. We're up to the last one. You are status quoing. I don't mind our mines doing more damage. They're more likely to blow up enemy ships in their entirety that way. I do like level 3, we don't take damage. And for the first time we get to spend Navy experience on something that isn't designing our ships. Speaking of, time for you to take a break, and then we get no more training, sorry, before war. Now goodbye, Asia. And then we'll be finished that when you're halfway through asking us to be friends. And then we save up points so that we have the ability to do that at maximum speed. Even when we do this, there's a somewhat of a chance that Czechoslovakia dies before we're allowed to help them. So we're not allowed to join their call for arms until this is finished, because this needs you to be at peace. This focus will cancel if the requirements are not met. Now the other risk we run here is that it's possible that if we're too good at communism, which we are, that as soon as we pass this one, we can get the event to turn communist without clicking this button, which then means France won't ask us to be friends. And I don't know how the odds on that decision are calculated. I don't know if it's mean time to happen or whatever. we're gonna risk it biscuit. Can we get up to 10 by the time we need to deploy you? Probably. So you will then have everything we could want you to have. We lose our extra factories. Add in this. Now I know that looks good, but you've got to keep in mind that I also I'm going to want to be changing over to a nicer design my own units when I start dragging them back home. That can be decryption. Rather than max out, is there anyone here that we want to train in anything? Yes, memory says there is a guy who can learn about I'm good at torpedo... No? Where is it? I'm good at cruisers. I forget which guy it is. Is it you? Yeah, I'm good at cruisers. Any ship can be a minesweeper once. Making it sweep several mines takes skill. Who else? No, fine, whatever. Get over it, and because we hate Japan, we don't have to pay anything. Why aren't you all here? But anyway, what we're going to do is look at these guys and see if there's any of those we should be leveling up. So I think we were going to give you the extra entrenchment. I suppose division recovery if you're being our early game top level guy. I hope you don't get purged. Oh, what if you get purged? I'm going to be sad. He has a monocle. How could he not get purged? Oh. Anyway, if you speed up to we'll go with written. Apparently I need to cancel one of these. 2 of these? 3 of these. Come on. 4 of these. And 1 more even. Cool. So from here, you may deploy in Delhi once you actually are equipped. We abort from Asia. There's no more of those we desperately need. Like that. And then the things that precede the next level guns and artillery. Now, how can I edit mine? I can have at least one artillery. But it doesn't look like I'm going to get to do any more before the war, and I do want at least 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 come the wartime, so... if those 7 deploy, I'm not going to cry. The rest of you, we can wait. Join together. And you're going to go defend this border, because otherwise France is a stupid head. There is enough world tension that is guaranteed Czechoslovakia. One of my previous attempts in patch 1.6.0, instead of 0.1 now, there was not enough world tension, which caused weird things to happen with nobody tried to protect Czechoslovakia. And we should probably divide up our ships how we're going to want them. So, this is a bit fiddly. You hop inside him. We grab all the ships. Except one, because they're still detached. Like, that's where they reattach to when they finish building, retrofitting. Merge together you guys. Merge together you guys. Oh, we need things to do. What a pleasant problem to have. Okay. From these, we split off the submarines. They get to be their own person. They get to exist over here, under the command of him. Him, why not? Maybe there is someone better. So you're the guy in charge of our cruisers. Submarines don't have AA, so it doesn't matter if... yeah, that would do nicely. So you're fine for that. What else? We split off the 2 crappier carriers, a couple of the big ships, just enough to trap Germany's navy. The other half of you can be the guy that we already assigned, because he's not actually going to do that job. He's going to do this job. He's going to live in Malta. Except that he splits off all of the cruisers who become a new person. They become that guy who was good at cruisers, which was you. Yes, you also come to Malta. Okay. Now, do you learn big ships only when you're in control of predominantly big ships? No. So you can have other ships as well, and that's fine. So we grab... No. Select all. What? Oh, yes. Split. Split. These two will do over here. This guy will help out against the Italians. They come live here. These two do here. Okay. I wouldn't mind one more of my hunter-killers. And if they could hop into training fleet. Kenya, you're going to help us hurt the Italians. You're going to Malta, you're going to Malta. You're going to Malta. You are going to start here. So you two, you need someone who is good. We expect the enemy to be running away anyway, so having more ships in the first contact and having them better positioned, I think is good. And then hopefully we can get him to learn the Fleet Protector, Destroyer Leader, Hunter Killer 3. Ugh. Cool. I think that is our ships distributed as they will want to be. You ask to become friends. We admit... What luck now? Delhi. Actually, we've kind of run out of time. So... we start distributing these around. We need one here, 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 here, here. You know, maybe I cancel one or two of them to get the others done now. Yeah, it helps. So we get that one done, we get that one done. Get that one done. Get that one done. We need 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the 10 that sit here. Oh no, I've forgotten Sind. Well, we need 11. An extra one then. So, you will join Claire. How are we doing? 1, 2, 3, 4. We need the one on Sind that we've forgotten about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Shit balls. You have an extra force that we can absorb. That will help. Where is the other one?
Ready!
No. That means that you can actually stay here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think that might be one short. So we're going to temporarily steal you. Which means that we can redirect one of the ones that we were moving to here to live here. And then we're good, I'm pretty sure. You want to become a good guy. We say yes. We say hello communism. We begin working to suppress our subjects and to position Mr. Defense, who should actually be Old Digger, honestly. Where's Old Digger? You can come sit there. And these ones, we won't call in Egypt, so you're actually better off over here. Push to here, please. And then later push to there. These, we're gonna go come. And what do we do with you? I suppose it doesn't hurt to have some units next to Luxembourg in Belgium. We also need to get Canada's units in position in Canada. Because, you know, if Australians come from Australia, then Canadians must come from Canada. What we need is a pair on each state. Says that we don't need that state, but let's just double check that everyone's going. So one here, one here, one here, one here, yes. You are all access to requirement. Come over here, and then over here. And with that, we'll call it an episode. At the beginning of the next episode, we expect Germany to attack Czechoslovakia. I hope you have enjoyed watching, and you will join us again soon. Bye-bye. I'll also deploy my airplanes across the break.